Awesome. Own your story and crush the comparison disease. My name is Tabitha Christopher of tabithachristopher.com. I am the CEO and founder of the Mind Style Makeover Bootcamp. It's a character and resilience building training program for students in college and high school, providing them with a roadmap to succeed academically, athletically, socially, and emotionally. I'm so glad that you're here. It's your first time watching one of my live broadcasts. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This would be a good time for you to save this broadcast tonight because it's going to be good. It's going to be very helpful. um, I'm sure of it is going to be very helpful as you continue forward on your journey um, as students in college, students in high school, and I know I may have parents watching as well. And if you're not in college, you're not in high school, but you're in the professional world, the things that we're going to talk about tonight would apply as well. Now, I would encourage you to watch tonight's video. The topic is on owning your story and crush the comparison disease, or own your story and crush comparing yourself to others. Why should you watch? Well, I would encourage you to watch if you find yourself struggling with comparing who you are, even the exterior of who you are, or comparing where you're not, like looking back to where you once were and then seeing where you are now and then like, man, I should be further ahead, or looking at your peers and seeing where they're at in their life's journey, and you're finding yourself caught up in that rut of self condemnation, self shaming, and just being overwhelmed with all of these thoughts that are coming in, putting you in a place of where you're comparing yourself to a standard that doesn't qualify to be compared to the unique you. If any of that you could relate to, I would encourage you to watch tonight's video. I want to start off with a true story, and that story is shared in my book, Secrets, the Book of Destiny, which you can get on Amazon.com. This story took place when I was 7 years old, and this young boy, one of my classmates, came up to me during recess, seeing that every group that I ran up to want to play with, whether it was any group of girls or that I resorted to going to the boys, and no one wanted to play with me. And he took notice to that and he rushed over, ran up to me, and he said to me, the reason why no one wants to play with me is because I was ugly. So I took what he said, looked at the situation that he said, and I was like, well, it kind of makes sense. No one wants to play with me, so it must be because I'm ugly. Now, at 7 years old, I had never heard this word ever before. I didn't know what it meant, but it felt like it meant something really bad, that it was a form of punishment. And for the rest of the day, I can remember not saying much, not participating much in class, and just feeling really down on myself. When I got home, my mother noticed that I wasn't being my usual self. And she asked, how was school? And that's all she had to ask. And I started to cry, and I told her what took place at recess. She fought back tears unsuccessfully. What she did next, it transformed my outlook of the world and my internal perspective of myself. My mother went on to introduce me to my first father, God. She showed me all of the immense beauty of the Caribbean, the sky, the trees, the just nature, the seas. And she said, you know who made all of this? And I said, I didn't know. And she told me it was God. Then she took me back inside, and down our small corridor, there was this mirror nailed to a post. She stood me in front of it. She took my glasses off, told me to close my eyes. I closed my eyes for a moment, and then she said, now open them. Now, while I was closing my eyes, I started to picture myself as Pocahontas from the Disney movie. And when she told me to open my eyes, my shoulders drooped and I was feeling quite disappointed. And she asked, "What do you see?" And I solemnly replied, "Me." And then she said, "The God who made all of the beauty that you saw, the sky, the trees, the birds, the sea, he made you. And he is your first father." Oh, oh my goodness. Trailblazer, I was beside myself. I said, "What? The God who made all of that made me?" And then she told me how much he loved me and what he did to rescue me. And I just wanted to know everything I could about my first father. I said, "Well, he knows all these things about me and he still loves me. How do I get to know about him?" And then she went on to purchase my first Bible. And I devoured that book at 7 years old. Was reading that book from the book of beginnings all the way to the end, wanting to learn more about my first father so I could know more of who I am. And as I studied the scriptures and continued to ask my mother questions and ask the elders of the community to learn about what does it take to be successful in this life? What does it take to be able to make your mark in your family, in your community? And the one thing that kept coming up over and over and over again, character. To make sure that everything that you do it unto the honoring and glorying of your first father, God. And then man will be taken care of, because if you're doing things to honor God, the creator of the universe, of course, everyone else will be taken care of. And because I believed the lie that was told to me from that young boy at the playground that day that I was ugly, I then took that painful moment. I said, "You know what? I may not be the prettiest girl in this class. I may not be the prettiest girl at all. I may be ugly on the outside, but no one is going to stop me from making the inside as beautiful as can be. I can make myself beautiful. I can grow the beauty from within. And therefore, I will never have any need to compare myself to any other woman outside of me." And that's what I began to do. I started to work on building the beauty within. And I remember as I got older and started getting more and more attention from young men, I was confused because I was still convinced that I was not attractive on the outside. But I was very much convinced that I was creating the attraction that actually mattered from the inside. And so I believe that I was attracting not just the young men being attracted to me, but everyone was attracted to my spirit because of the work that was being done to build up the character from within, to be able to do the right thing, even when it's not popular, even when I know it could cost me my life. And I've been in many of those situations, standing up for what's right based on the standard of God, not the standard of mankind or societal norms. No, I will push against the agenda, right? And go towards what God is saying. And doing those things, even if people disagree with me, they respected that I took a very clear position on on specific topics that's covered throughout the Bible. Now, your belief may be very different from mine, right? You may have a completely different belief from mine. But one of the things that I would guarantee that you and I would agree upon is that we would much rather do life with someone who cares about your well-being, who sees the best in you and wants to grow that best out of you so you can maximize and unleash your great power pack potential, than working with someone who thinks that you are their competition. That's draining. And that's not really productive, right? So when it comes to owning your story, when you own your story is built off of the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis. We are writing our story every single day. Every single day that you open your eyes and there's life in your body, you have taken on the stage of life. And you have in your hand, well, actually, you actually have the pen in your mouth, your tongue. Your tongue combined with your actions will create the story that you will live, experience, and be remembered for. So, in order to crush the comparison disease, it's a disease, man. Comparing oneself to another, especially when it comes to things that are superficial, such as one's outward appearance. Like that's a losing battle right there. I mean, like and why should that we put so much emphasis on the things that matter very little. I guarantee you, if you focus on building up your character, being honest, being kind, building empathy for others, speaking the truth in love, being patient with yourself and others, specifically your family, build up that character, build up the beauty from within. And you'll be surprised how it reflects on the outward. It literally will transform, it literally will transform the external countenance that you carry. So versus walking around in the depths of despair and your face is matching the thoughts of doom and gloom, your face will brighten. You'll be able to go through life storms that will come and have a healthy perspective on it. And won't be quick to point the finger to blame anybody. And also, you learn how to speak kinder to yourself as well. Owning your story does so many good things for us. As I share these things with you, I also want to, I feel it necessary to share with you that this is something, owning your story is something that we have to be willing to intentionally participate in on a daily basis. Because every day there will be tests that will come as opportunities for growth. And so we can either choose to lean in and grow, or we can choose to avoid and not grow. Yet as trailblazers, we often will choose what is beneficial, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes not right away, but we will eventually do it. We will eventually do it. I hope that this talk tonight for our Mind Style Makeover Monday was beneficial and helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. And if it was, let me know. Let me know in the comments. This particular live will be saved on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, there's a whole bunch of other chats that we've had over the last few months on varying topics around owning your story and the incredible power-packed benefits that comes from it. And also how to do it, how to practically follow steps to owning your story so you can crush the comparison disease, crush comparing yourself to others, and run the race that you have been purposed to run and to complete with great success. God bless, and we'll chat next time on the next Mind Style Makeover Monday.